Rumors have it that there's a possible alien threat detected, and major warnings are being issued for public transportations due to disturbing reasons, along with a fungus that could be absorbing all of the radiation in Chernobyl. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to some of the more unusual and thought-provoking clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
Yo, this man figured out how to turn trash into gas and now it's disappeared. His name is Julian Brown. He has 1.3 million followers on TikTok. He was building machines in his backyard, claiming that he could turn plastic into diesel. He was even saying on his last post that the government was watching him. And then poof, no more posts, no more updates, just vanished. Do you think the government snatched him up? Or maybe he's in hiding? Some people claim he might have been on some Area 51 energy type stuff. Do you think he was silenced, or is this the best marketing movie I've ever seen?
Now, I did go and check this guy's account, and he has not posted in a while. And his last few videos were of him talking about being followed or tracked by black helicopters, and that he could potentially go missing. I really do hope nothing bad has happened to him. People have been burning plastic and turning it into crude oil for a while. And I know at some point last year he also took a long hiatus and did the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that this guy faked his disappearance, but we'll see in the future if he does come back. It could be a social media strategy. In someone in his position, he's willing to take a break so that he can further work on his equipment. And honestly, I hope that is what it is. I mean, it really sucks to scare the community if that's the case, but it's better safe than being missing. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that we're going to have a follow-up? Do you think he's going to come back? Or do you think that this could be the end of Julian Brown?
Did y'all hear about this organ donation nonprofit in Kentucky that tried to harvest organs from a man that was still alive? Y'all, this is absolutely insane. The feds are just now getting involved, but it happened back in 2021. Anthony Thomas Hoover was in a coma from an overdose. And even though his family didn't want to, this organ donation company pushed them into donating his organs and pulling his life support, even though he was showing signs of recovery. So Anthony actually woke up right before they tried to take him off of life support. And this poor man was crying, holding his legs to his chest and shaking his head no, and they still tried to move forward with it. They said other doctors got involved and they ended up not going through with the procedure. And they ended up digging deeper into all the people that were on the organ donation list. And there were at least 73 cases where people should have stepped in and stopped it, because the patients were showing signs of improvement. And they flagged over 103 cases that had concerning features. And that's not all of it. So former employees from this organ harvesting company said that their higher-ups would push doctors to push out these people with comas for organ donation. And this organ harvesting company would pressure families into donating their loved ones to them as well. Now, I don't know if y'all are on the conspiracy side of TikTok, but there is a huge conspiracy about organ harvesting in America. And this investigation is saying that there's over 20,000 cases in America right now that were under these particular circumstances. What do y'all think about this? Let me know.
Wow, that's really crazy. If the guy is actually in the fetal position begging for his life, I definitely do not think it's right to take him off of life support. That's even crazy that they want to attempt that.
Man, the Unitree robotics company out of China has made some incredible advancements in their technology. Look at this R1 robot that they just released, and it's under $6,000 US. That's right. Yeah, 39,999 yuan, but that's only $5,900 in American money. This thing is labeled as a sports athletic labeled robot. So basically it can do all the handstands, all the cool flips, all the cool karate moves that you would want. Looks like a Matrix moving type style robot, but it can also do some other cool things, and you can alter the software and you can do all kinds of really cool things with it. You know, later on down the line they're going to come out with other releases and you're just going to be able to do some really cool stuff. So if you want a robot that can do all the fun stuff and it's lightweight and it's low cost, this thing is blowing out the American robotic market. I mean, Elon Musk is saying that his are going to cost $20,000, but they have to at least hit a production limit of 1 million robots, which hasn't happened anytime soon. So I think China's going to blow us out, man. And this R1 is amazing. Now, Unitree has other robots like the G1 and the H1, and those are a little bit higher level with higher weights and higher lifting capabilities. But if you're just looking for a robot that can do a few things and help you out around the house, I think this one's going to be okay for 6 G's, under 6 G's. Woo. It's amazing. What do you think? Put your comment in the comments.
I mean, $6,000 is still a lot of money. I mean, is it more affordable than something that's $20,000? For sure. And I've seen on TikTok these little robots fighting each other, playing soccer. It's actually entertaining. I do not think that that robot is really capable of dusting a house very well, so I'm personally not interested, but once one is capable of doing really good dusting, I might find interest in that one.
People are just finding out what this button in an elevator actually does. You've probably been in an elevator before and you press the close door button and then it still takes ages to close and you feel like, well, why did that take so long? Well, people didn't realise that the buttons don't actually do anything. Right, so this has been a big controversy for a very long time, with a lot of people thinking no, they do it, and a lot of people thinking no, they definitely don't work. Weirdly, it is genuinely true. Quick Google search online, various news sources, in many modern elevators, the door is a placebo. It gets crazier, so stick with me and I'll look into it further. But it is true, the majority of elevators in the US, the button doesn't actually work, it's a placebo. It just closes automatically after a certain amount of time anyway, so it might seem like you've managed to close it. However, it's not every elevator. There is obviously some that it does work for. The open and close button does, but it's kind of hit and miss whether you're going to get it or not. What emerged a while ago from the actual people that make the doors was that since 1990, with the Disabilities Act, they haven't really been in service. That's because the elevators are actually required by law to stay open long enough to make it easy for people with physical disabilities to get inside. So in some buildings the buttons may very well work, and in other ones they won't, but you wouldn't even realise. Not just doing it because it's a complete scam, they're doing it for this reason and many others.
Now, every elevator that I have been in and I've pressed that button, it's always worked. I mean, at least I thought it did. It could have been a placebo. But hey, the more you know. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And for everyone that's watching and or subscribed, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
The following footage was captured by a girl named Maisie. She was having a sleepover at her best friend's house when spooky things begin to happen to her, and she has no explanation for them. She claims it's not her friend playing a trick on her. But take a look at this footage, and at the end of the second video, what is going on with her best friend? Comment below, tell me what you think.
I'm pretty certain that this has to be a hoax. I couldn't imagine someone filming something that they're seeing in the shower and then pointing the camera back at themselves and then back at the shower. I mean, I could be wrong. And if that was real and if I was in that situation, an act of violence probably would have occurred that night.
Happening right now as we speak, the fire just blew up out of nowhere. But we'll come right back to this because the water in the United States might be the most dangerous thing. By the way, completely unrelated 1000%, this right here was just seen in the sky in China. And days since that happened, like 2 days, it's been flooding 2 days straight ever since that coincidence was in the sky. You want to know something crazy though? I remember something very, very similar with Cape Town, Africa, and also in Turkey. So you know there's been floods everywhere in the US, all over the world as well, unless you live under a rock. Just a few weeks ago, I had made a video about the increase in the flesh-eating bacteria and about how all the floods and now coming the hurricanes and all the heat is giving a perfect breeding ground all around us. These were all those dead fish that popped up a few days ago. Do you know that there's been 17 to 18 cases of this flesh-eating bacteria, Vibrio velnificus, where 4 people have died about it to the point where they're warning people who are traveling there? And of course, we had the floods in New Mexico and Houston just a day ago. All of this water, who knows where it's coming from, is creating the perfect place to breed this bacteria for everybody in the United States. Not to mention all the anomaly maps I've been showing you with plus 7, 8, 9 degrees Celsius all over surface temperatures. Again, who really knows where all this water is coming from? All we do know is that it's here. Now, this flesh-eating bacteria is the most dangerous in summer, hot months because, of course, the hot water. And with a 20 to 40 Fahrenheit increase in temperatures, these bacteria are going to spread like crazy. And while we were planning on going to Florida, it looks like that might change as people are literally dying from this flesh-eating bacteria. Not to mention in South Carolina and other states I've seen, we've had children pass away from brain-eating amoebas. So very coincidentally, it seems that all of this heat is making all this water around us very much more dangerous, especially in time for the hurricane season. All of this stuff around us is so unbelievable. It's almost like the devil is doing it himself. Take, for instance, this video from Turkey a few hours ago. It literally looked the beginning like hell. We are in very, very rough shape right now, regardless if you see it or you don't. Believe it or not, some of us are old enough to remember when things were not like this.
Now, I live in South Carolina, very, very close to where that brain-eating amoeba incident took place. Rest in peace to that child, and I hope the best for their family as well. That's a shame, and I'm really sorry that that happened, especially for it being such a rare thing. And I'm sure with all of these waters that are going across the states, it's more than likely picking up and dragging things around that are really nasty. And that fire looks intense. Please be careful out there, people.
You know how people say you should talk to your plants? Well, it's probably a good idea because these ones might just eat you. This is the Yataveo, a cryptid plant that can supposedly be found in South America. Its name means, I see you. Like the tree sees you and tries to eat you, which is way too much. So reports of these plants first started showing up in the mid-19th century by German explorer Karl Lecce. According to the lore, the Yataveo is said to be carnivorous and large enough to consume an entire human. Picture a tropical tree with long snake-like tendrils, but they move on their own and wrap around anything that gets too close. And when an unfortunate animal is snagged by the Yataveo, its tendrils encompass it, crushes their bones, and drains their body dry. Yeah, count me out on that jungle smoothie. In one account, an explorer claimed that he saw the Yataveo grab a woman and completely consume her in just minutes, and the only thing that was left was her bones. Now, skeptics and debunkers say this is nothing but a hoax, tall tales, and the like, and that may be, but why are there so many stories of man-eating plants all around the world? Similar stories can be found like that of the vampire vine, or the devil's snare, or the man-eating tree of Madagascar. So either everyone's making it up, or plants are getting tired of photosynthesis. But what do you think? Make sure to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to hear about next.
Well, I'm glad the Yataveo doesn't exist. My wife loves plants, and if that existed, she would do everything in her power to tame it.
This is the Devil's Tower in Wyoming, and this is what happens when you mix mercury with aluminum. Looks a lot alike, Brewski. Shabadoo!
It does look a lot alike. The real question though is what could be the big piece of aluminum that had mercury to cause that effect at that mass? Not saying that that's what that is, I'm just curious as to what it could have been if that was. Let me know if you have any theories.
Look at this massive pile of absolutely no thank you. Scientists just found something that's growing where nothing should be growing.
But life, finds a way.
This was found on the walls inside of Sharon Noble. Now, this is a black fungus that's not just surviving the deadly radiation, it's literally eating it. It's absorbing it. They're classifying it as Cladosporium sphaerospermum. I tried. But this fungus actually turns nuclear radiation into food like plants do with sunlight and like a photosynthesis. But scientists are actually calling it radiosynthesis. This part's gonna glaze your ham because the more radiation it's exposed to, the faster it grows. I'll be damned. And of course, this being such a big discovery, all the governments are involved and they've already sent a sample up to the International Space Station and they're going to test it to see if it can protect astronauts from cosmic radiation as well. Just like the man said, nature finds a way. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Is this going to be the next big scientific breakthrough, something in medicine, or the next conspiracy theory? Let me know. Follow for more crap like this.
Now, the image that he is showing here is not the real fungus at all. There's actually not a real good image of the fungus out there. But they are talking about how this fungus could potentially heal Chernobyl, and that they are trying to see if it would work in the space station as well. That's actually pretty interesting. Let me know what you guys think of this.
Possibly hostile alien threat detected an unknown interstellar object, and it's heading straight this way. So the newly discovered Manhattan-sized interstellar object zooming through our solar system has been identified as a comet, but 2 Harvard scientists argue there's a reason to believe it's really an alien probe. NASA discovered 31 Atlas on July 1st, speeding through the inner solar system at 140,000 miles per hour, according to observations from Atlas Telescope in Chile, with experts clueless as to where it originated. Harvard astrophysicists suggested in a new paper that the object, only the 3rd interstellar object ever detected, could be an intelligently directed alien craft observing Earth with possible hostile intentions. Hypothesis in question is that 31 Atlas is a technological artifact and furthermore has active intelligence. If this is the case, then 2 possibilities follow. First, that its intentions are entirely benign, and second, they are malign. So it's either coming here for no reason or it's all bad. Now, the paper presented several anomalous characteristics of the object, which can indicate that it's not a comet at all, but instead a directed craft. One of the most puzzling observations is that the object has significant non-gravitational acceleration, whilst having now cometary outgassing. It's also approaching surprisingly close to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. Now, 31 Atlas's low retrograde tilt would seemingly allow it to access our planet with relative impunity. Come right in. The retrograde tilt means attempts by humanity to intercept it, or even more difficult, rendezvous with it, are extremely challenging. Experts further suggest that the tilt and pathway would allow the intelligent life on the object to gather astrometric measurements to determine the orbits and masses of the solar system's planets, allowing it to prepare an optimal approach strategy towards the solar system. What? This is it, guys. Right here. 31 Atlas. Another possible smoking GUN is that 31 Atlas will come closest to the sun on October 29th, on which day the object will be completely blocked from Earth's view by the fiery ball. Strategic. Now, the study embraces the dark forest hypothesis regarding alien life, which assumes that other intelligent life would likely view Earthlings as a threat to be snuffed out. This thing is creeping me out. Let's all just hope this is an asteroid or comet or something, because the last thing we need is an alien invasion.
I personally do not believe that it's an alien or a hostile alien threat. Honestly, it could just be a big distraction for everything that's going on in the world right now. Because if it really was a threat and people really thought that it was some kind of alien object, foreign object that was gonna cause harm or a potential risk to this planet, they would send something out there, or they would try to do as much as possible to get as much information as they can on it. I mean, they landed a probe on an asteroid to try to redirect it, for crying out loud. They could do something similar to this, just to get an idea as to what it actually is. But let me know what you guys think about all this. This is a big one on TikTok right now. Me personally, I think that it could possibly be a distraction.
You look like you're in a studio, maybe in Omaha, Nebraska or something. The shot is so clear. Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
See the hair?
I don't know. We're going to have to do something for you.
Yeah.
I want to do it. Can everybody float around for us? That was really cool, Chris. Look at her.
I think Sandy's hair is pretty much a dead giveaway. I think Sandy's hair is pretty much a dead giveaway.
The ISS is the worst NASA production to date, bar none. It is a sloppy, illogical, has massive technical issues and even larger plot holes. So many, in fact, it is difficult to know which to address first. Where do I start? Alphabetical? Chronological? Order of importance? The first one that springs to mind is probably the most ridiculous. It is what I like to call ISS hairspray. Remember earlier when I said nerds watch everything? That now includes all footage from the International Space Station. On that station, there are a lot of things that do not make sense, including the very station itself. The ISS is supposedly in zero gravity, which means all loose items inside should have a certain flowing feeling about them. You can see this in zero-G planes that people sometimes rent. It is a kind of like being in a swimming pool, where things like long hair act a certain way. Only women on the ISS have long hair. No one on the station should have any hair at all. Hair of any length would break off and quickly clog the air filters. It would get everywhere. There is a reason why public swimming pools require shower caps, yet NASA lets it slide. I will too, in order to move to a bigger issue that stemmed from this slide. Now that long hair is allowed on the ISS, you have to deal with the zero gravity issue visually. In true zero-G, long hair flows like it was in water. You can see this in zero-G plane footage. Hair flows naturally to and fro and is expected. This is not the case with the ISS. The women's hair almost invariably stands straight up, like the Bride of Frankenstein. I know that reference dates me, I'm older. Their hair is literally permed, or at the very least sprayed to death. This is what I like to call a production risk. It is unnecessary and reckless. If you are staging a zero-G scene, there are a number of ways to visually deal with hair. You can pull the hair back into a ponytail. You can wear a cool NASA hat. As mentioned above, you could make short hair mandatory for both sexes. The last thing you should do is set the hair in place. It never looks natural. Yes, it can be done to add a cheap zero-G effect, but you do not have to do it because the public already believes you are in near-Earth orbit. Again, all of this is easy to find. Simply search ISS hairspray. After that, you could look for ISS green screen, where the technical issues never stop because NASA is fond of giving live interviews to media and school children. One of my favorites is watching an ISS member reach for and put away a hat on the other side of the room, even though he never grabbed it. You see, the floating hat was CGI and the monitor layer glitched. I cannot do it justice here. You will find it.
That's all, folks.
That all painfully looks fake. I personally do believe in space. I do think that there is people up there. I just do not think that they film real astronauts. I think the people that they show us that are the supposed astronauts are just actors and actresses, because the US and other countries are not going to want to show what they're actually working on up in space. The things that they're doing up in space is probably unspeakable, and probably due to the expense, they don't actually use actors and actresses to send to space. They have to use some kind of stage set, because I'm telling you, some of those videos, they're obviously fake. At least they look it. And I agree with the hair thing so much. It looks so bad. It looks like hairspray, but when you see someone in an actual zero-G plane, it does look like their hair's moving in water, not to mention their clothes are also flowing. Like the guy here on the right, he's got loose sleeves, but they're not moving. They're just still sleeves. Well, let me know what you guys think about all this. I'm almost certain that the things that they show us from space is not real. That doesn't mean that I do not believe in space. I do believe in space, and I do believe that there is astronauts working on things up there, but I think the things that they're showing us is not real at all.
For the love of God, please tell me that all of you have seen the video now of the alien that was captured on the Ring camera in California. Now, if you haven't seen this video, it's the clearest video we've gotten so far of an extraterrestrial just wandering around on Earth. Now, this video is actually gotten so much traction that it's made it to mainstream news. Now, sometimes I don't believe the things mainstream news puts out there because, come on, it's mainstream news. They're meant to deceive you and point you in the direction that your government wants you to go in. But this video is quite amazing. Now, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to show it to you. But a Ring camera, a lady in California caught this on her Ring camera at 1 a.m. You can listen to the interaction back and forth with her and her child. I'm going to show you the video, but tell me what you think of this, because this is pretty cool.
I'm literally going crazy, like I'm losing my mind. And I took the phone to my son, so I was like, can you check this for me? I was like, am I seeing things, or is this? And he's like, Mom, it's an alien.
In that interview, she says then her son was like, it's an alien, call the cops. She's like, I'm not going to call the cops. They'll think I'm crazy. But this was captured on film. Now check this angle. What do you think? Is this the first time you've seen this video? Because I will tell you this, more and more stuff is going to start showing up, and we tried to tell you.
I have no clue as to what that could have been. Didn't really look like a dog, didn't look like a squirrel of any kind, and if that was a person, that they had a pretty bulbous head. Let me know what you think it was.
Whatever you do, do not get on the train anytime soon. Major warnings being issued after lots of reports of this happening on the tube. People in various places, but quite predominantly on the tube, have had weird substances blown in their face, and well, what happened next was far worse. There has been a lot of reports coming out of something called devil's breath. Devil's breath is essentially this compound, which, yeah, is very bad. I'm not going to speak about too much of it because it will get taken down. But there is lots of people getting jailed and lots of people having horrendous things happen to them because of this. Many people have reported being on the tube in a quiet area with not that many others around. Then someone coming up to them looking a bit suspicious and just standing around them. Sometimes noticing them blowing a white smoke almost from a newspaper or a folded piece of paper that's hidden into their face. Or sometimes it's so small that they won't even notice it, they'll just start to feel weird. Feeling drugged and almost out of control, someone else will then come in and lead you to a cash register and make you do things you didn't want to do, or just blind rob you right there. Also, there's this thing where they're taking postage stamps and being like, oh, can you help me, like, can you lick my envelope and put it on? And obviously that is not a postage stamp, but why would you do that for someone random anyway, so just don't. But this is genuinely happening, and it is pretty scary. So let me know if you know any more on this, and as always, I will keep you updated.
Man, public trains and other forms of transportation are terrifying to me. That's one thing I'm really glad that I do not have to deal with, because that would be horrible. You're just trying to make your way home after work, you have to ride the train, and the next thing you know, some guy just comes up to you, blows powder into your face, you pass out, and then you wake up in a tub full of ice and your kidney is gone. Horrible experience to go through. Never again. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me, and with that being said, have a good day.